Hey guys, we are going to do another 6.7 video today and continue talking about how can I calculate loan interest, because this is stuff like it in your day-to-day real life. It's going to be important to you at some point. So it's good to practice it now and really feel comfortable with how does interest work. So again, just as a little bit of a refresher, you should have seen this in earlier videos, but we're working with this formula, I equals PRT. We call this the simple interest formula. I stands for your interest, and then we've got principal, rate, and time. And like I said, you should have seen this in earlier videos. If you haven't seen this before, you probably should back up and watch some of those first. But we're just going to try a couple problems today and keep applying this formula. So our first example, example 1, is we are going to buy a car. And here's the car. It's got a sticker price on it. I'm sure you've driven by some car lots before and you've seen prices on cars. This car is $27,480. $27,480. So we're going to see what it's like to purchase this car, because that price is not actually the price you're probably going to pay when you factor in your loan. So what we're going to write down in our notes is the cost of this car. Now the cost, the sticker price, is $27,480. But you're going to go to the bank and you're going to get a loan, and your bank loan is going to be for 4%. Not bad, not too high of a percentage, so that's nice. And then the bank's also going to give you a timeline. So they're going to say you need to pay this off and pay us back in a certain amount of time, in this case 10 years. So you have 10 years to pay the bank back. They're going to let you borrow all of the money, and the deal will be you have to pay back 4%. So what we've got to do is figure out how much money is that then. So let's go through the math of how this works. We're going to use that simple interest formula. So we're going to write down I equals PRT, principal, rate, and time. So in this problem, our principal, our P, is the cost of the car, $27,480. And the rate is the rate that the bank gave us. So the bank is giving us a deal. They're saying, hey, we're going to give you 4%. So rate is 4%. And the time, the T, is 10 years. They're saying you need to pay us back in 10 years. So the bank's going to give you the $27,480 so that you can buy your car. And then you have to turn around and every month make payments, and you have 10 years to pay it all back plus 4% more. So that timeline is 10 years. So what we got is I equals $27,480 times our 4%. Well, 4% as a decimal we know is 0.04, and then times 10 years. And this is where you're just going to grab your calculator. You're going to type in 27,480 times 0.04 times 10. You probably should do that right now while I'm doing it also, just because sometimes I make mistakes in these videos, and then you can come tell me if I do. So test the numbers, see what you get. I'm getting 10,992. So hopefully you got the same thing, which means you're going to have to pay the bank back not only the money you borrowed, but the extra $10,992. So below all of this work, I'm going to write total costs. The actual cost of that car is the sticker price, $27,480, plus the extra you're going to pay the bank back, $10,992. Now, if we add those numbers together, that's the actual price that you're paying for this car. And in this case, it'd be $38,472. So total grand price of the car is really $38,472. So people kind of get tricked when they go to buy their car and they see that price tag. They think that's the price I'm paying. But when you take out a loan, that's not truly the price you're paying. You have to add on the extra interest. So yeah, the bank's going to let you borrow a bunch of money and you're going to get your car, and that's great. But over the next 10 years, you're going to write the bank back checks. You're going to send them money, and you're going to end up paying $38,472 for that car. Okay, so why don't you try, since we've done a few videos on this now, let's imagine you are buying a house. And now the cost of a house is going to be much more than the cost of a car. So the cost of this house is $450,000. The bank's going to give you a loan because there's no way you can pay that all out of pocket. You need to borrow the money. So you're going to get a nice 4.5% interest rate, and the bank's going to give you some time. Now this is a little bit bigger than a car, so they're going to give you 20 years to pay it off. So right now what I want you to do is on your device, hit that pause button and go ahead and see if you can calculate how much money are you actually going to be spending on this house. Go ahead and give it a try. All right, so you are unpausing the video at this point. You are ready to check your answer. So let's see how you did here. So hopefully you have your simple interest formula, I equals PRT. The principal for this house is $450,000. The rate is 4.5%, and the time that you get is 20 years. So that's kind of our setup. So we're going to do 450,000 times our rate, which I'm going to rewrite as 0.045 times 20 years. And then you put all that in the calculator and you end up getting a nice big number, $405,000. So the cost of this house is way more than you actually probably thought it was. What is the total cost? Well, the total cost of this entire house is the $450,000 plus all that $405,000 of interest. Put that all together, you're actually spending $855,000 on your home. So when you factor in that interest, you realize you're actually paying a lot more than you originally thought. Again, loans and interest can be a little bit deceiving, so it's good to do this math ahead of time before you sign the paperwork and say yes to anything. We'll make sure you're okay with that final total cost. So let's take this idea and try it with another example. And this example is going to be a little bit different. We're going to look at buying two different options. So imagine you walk into the store and you have a decision to make. So that's our question. Which of the following is a better deal? Now we're going to go shopping for something fun. We're going to get a new boat so you can go out water skiing and wakeboarding. So there are two boat options when you go into the store that you really like. Option one is this nice looking boat. Look at that thing. Doesn't that look nice? This is a $66,000 boat. That's your first option. The second option is a cheaper boat where you could save a little bit of money, still a very nice boat, but it's $54,000. So these are your two options, and they're both really nice looking boats, and you're the buyer and you have to decide which one you want. So here's what we're going to do. In our notes, we are going to make a T-chart to compare these boats. I'm going to say boat A versus boat B. So that's what you're going to write down. Boat A versus boat B, and I'm just going to split this up into that nice T-chart. If I'm going fast, just pause whenever you need to on this. Sometimes I fly through this stuff. So boat A and boat B had two different prices. Boat A was the more expensive, $66,000 boat. Boat B was a little cheaper, $54,000. But we don't know what's the better deal until we find out what the bank is willing to give us for a loan. So we're going to have some different options here. For boat A, we're going to have a 5.5% interest rate. And for boat B, 6% interest rate. Now, boat A is a little more expensive and the bank wants you to pay it off in 10 years. Boat B, they're going to be nice and say, oh, you can take 20 years and take your time to pay us back. So these are kind of your two options. You're in the store, you're looking at the boats, you like them both, but they have different interest rates. They're pretty close, 5.5% and 6%, very close. Boat A, you have 10 years to make the payments. Boat B, you get 20 years. You have longer to make the payments. Which one is a better deal for you? So let's go through our math and figure that out right now. So I'm going to make this a little small and off to the side. I'm going to focus on boat A first. I'm going to use my simple interest formula, I equals PRT. And then what I'm going to do is write out my principal. My principal is the $66,000. So $66,000 goes where the principal is. My rate is 5.5% for this one, and I'm going to have 10 years to make the payments and pay this thing off. So this is option A, my first boat choice. And if I do my math here, that's $66,000 times 0.055 times 10. So we got to multiply all that out. Will you grab a calculator right now and try that? Because that's a lot of numbers right there. $66,000 times 0.055 times 10. Take a moment, type that in. Okay, what are you getting? Are you getting a number? This is what I'm getting. You can double check my math. I got $36,300. So you're going to be paying the bank an extra $36,300. Wow, okay. So that's boat A. Let's do boat B and see what I'm going to pay the bank for that one. So B is a little cheaper. Its principal P is $54,000. So this boat is a little less money. The rate's tiny bit higher. It's 6% instead of 5.5%. Okay. And I get much longer. I get 20 years to make my payments. So I'm in a little bit less of a rush, 20 years instead of 10. Let's do the math on this one. So I equals $54,000 times my 6%, which is 0.06, and then times my 20. Again, put this in your calculator, double check my math, because like I said, I make typos on these sometimes. I need you guys to tell me if I do. So what is $54,000 times 0.06 times 20? I'm getting a big number. I'm getting $64,800. You're going to be paying the bank more in interest than you paid originally for the boat itself. $64,800. So going back to my T-chart now, I'm going to add in my interest. So for boat A, we found out it was $36,300, and for boat B, it was $64,800. But the question still stands, which boat's the better deal? Boat A is more expensive, but has less interest. Boat B is cheaper, but has way more interest over time. So let's add this up. Let's see, the total value for boat A would be the $66,000 plus all the interest, $36,300. Let's add that together to figure out what the price of boat A is all together at the end of all your payments. So if I add that up, I get $102,300 all together. So that's a pretty expensive boat. When you're all done making your payments, you've spent $102,300 on a boat. Wow. Okay, let's look at boat B, the cheaper option. So it costs $54,000, but we're going to add in all that interest, that $64,800. If we add that up, we've got the cost plus all the interest. We put all that together, 0 plus 0, 0 plus 0, 0 plus 8. We just kind of add all that up. We get $118,800. Dang, okay, so which boat in the end ended up being the cheaper boat? Actually, it ends up being boat A. Boat A is just a little bit cheaper. Well, not a little bit, about $16,000 cheaper actually. So just because the sticker price might be higher on something, you have to look at the details of the loan. How long are you paying it for? What's the percent? Because when you factor all that in, turns out that the more expensive boat is actually the better deal in the long run. So I would say boat A is your best choice. So guys, that's going to wrap up this video, and hopefully you're kind of getting the idea of how simple interest works and how to look closely at loans and decide, like, is that a good interest rate? And how about the time? The longer you're paying it, the more interest the bank's going to make. Those 20-year loans versus 10-year loans make a huge difference when you look at the numbers. So get that formula kind of stuck in your head, I equals PRT, and remember, it's principal, rate, and time. Thanks for watching, guys. See you in the next video. Bye.